Right side.
Hello, thank you for joining us for the East Aurora Village Board meeting for July 1st, 2024. If you could join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I got attendance, please, Sarah.
Trustee
Good
Elizabeth.
morning. Here.
Trustee Cameron.
Here.
Trustee Vijay.
Here.
Trustee Flynn.
Here.
Trustee Raby.
Here.
Trustee Shear.
Here.
Mayor Mercurio.
Present.
7 present, 0 absent.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of the village board meeting for June 17th, 2024?
So moved.
Moved by Steve, second.
Second.
Second by Jeff. Further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Approved? Can I get a motion to approve the payment of abstract 2023-2024 fiscal year for voucher numbers 64922 to 64978 for a total of $15,076.99?
So moved.
Moved by Grace, second.
Second.
Second by Molly. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Can I get a motion to approve the payment of abstracts 2024-2025 fiscal year for voucher numbers 64926 to 64975 for a total of $99,049.70?
So moved.
Moved by Kristen. Second.
Second.
Second by Jeff. For the discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. So to start off our first speakers in communications, I would like to present a proclamation to our retiring Chief of Police, Shane Krieger. If you could come up, please. Whereas Chief Shane Krieger is retiring from the village of East Aurora after 32 years of service within the East Aurora Police Department. And whereas Chief Krieger's dedication and commitment to law enforcement is evident in his rise through the ranks, beginning with his first position as a patrol officer in February 1982, K-9 officer in October 2007, promotion to lieutenant in July 2009, and promotion to chief of police in August 2015. And whereas Chief Krieger has managed unprecedented events in his tenure as chief, including police reform, numerous large events, states of emergency, COVID, civil unrest, and even a train drill. Whereas Chief Krieger has worked to successfully foster positive relationships with the town of Aurora for police services. And whereas Chief Krieger has worked to successfully foster positive relationships with the towns of Aurora, Elma, Holland, Marilla, Sardinia, and Wales for fire dispatch services. And whereas Chief Krieger, through his tireless pursuit of grant funding, was able to add live scan, body cameras, security doors, and other technology and safety equipment to protect the safety of our office and the residents of the village. And whereas Chief Krieger, with his team, has accomplished keeping East Aurora the safest place to live in Western New York, one of the safest places to live in New York State. And whereas Chief Krieger is an ethical and respected individual who has devoted much of his life to the safety and security of the businesses and residents of the village of East Aurora, his many accomplishments, his professionalism, and his service leave a legacy behind for which our village will be forever grateful. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Peter Mercurio, on behalf of the village board and all of our citizens, extend sincerest appreciation for his distinguished service and best wishes for a very happy retirement. Not only that, I heard he was a really good defenseman. I started the Barbell men's soccer team. And some of you got Chief Krieger on the team. He was amazing, and you were amazing right up until you got promoted to lieutenant. You had to work nights. You couldn't play anymore. But who knew? 25 years later, we're all coming down with this. So
Still got my needs, so
that's good. So if you want to say,
No,
feel free. And would the trustees like to add anything?
Thank you for your service.
absolutely.
Ditto.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, still in speakers and communications. This is your opportunity to speak on any topic you so desire. You have 2 minutes. We have a second opportunity at the end of the meeting. But if you'd like to say something now, please raise your hand, and when recognized, come up, give us your name and address, and speak your piece.
Hi, good evening. My name is John Genero. I live at 219 South Grove Street. This is my wife, Renee Genero. We're here speaking on a topic involving the community of South Grove Street and Grigg Street. A larger group of people are behind us. If you'd like, just raise your hand just to show who's here in interest of that. Thank you. First of all, living across from Hamlin Park is great. The track going in has been phenomenal. I taught my kids how to ride their bike on that. I ran laps on it earlier today. The basketball courts, the pickleball courts, the tennis ball courts, state of the art. They're great. My kids growing up across the street from that, I'm looking so forward to them enjoying those amenities. I think the problem that happened and the problem that we're experiencing is, in short put, if you build it, they will come. Those great amenities drew crowds. The problem was a vacuum was created where there were no real enforced rules regularly. And in doing so, an environment of impunity has been created where kids can come, play basketball, play loud music with profane language, irregardless of the noise complaints or whatever the regulations are that are involved. They're drinking, they're smoking weed, drug deals are going on, they're peeling out when they leave. They're just a general nuisance. Kids are going to be kids. We're not going to stop that. Teenagers will be teens. The problem that I don't want to create, or I guess exacerbate, is I don't want that park to be where they go to hang out and do those things and put the village and the community residents in danger. I don't want to bother the police, but when we have called, they've been extremely responsive every time the problem has stopped. But it's an incredibly inefficient way of dealing with that problem. Every time we see it, we have to call. I think if there were signs indicating the hours of the park, when it was open, when it was closed, there was a clear crosswalk in the parking lot. So there was a safe access for pedestrians to get through without the risk of kids peeling out, cutting across the parking lot diagonally. That would make it much safer. And then gates to close the park when it's closed so that people don't come there after hours. Meet up with there were 11 cars there last night, playing loud music, peeling out. Police were called, they came, and they left immediately. Again, it's an inefficient way to deal with the problem. If there were gates stopping people from entering the park.
The kids left immediately? Is that what you're saying? The police
The
came, police were
cars,
called
the
and the
cars.
kids left?
You're right, that's generalization.
Okay.
The cars left immediately.
Okay.
Once the police were called, the cars left immediately.
Got it, thank you.
Also, someone coming to close the gates when the bathrooms are closed, or perhaps when the pickleball courts were closed at 8 p.m. would also be an added presence to deter the growing homeless population, believe it or not, in Hamlin Park. They're abusing the facilities because they're open or they're not being shut on time. There's free water, there's free bathrooms. I don't blame them. If you're looking at it strategically, that's a great place to go if you don't have a better place to be. I think some of the solutions that we've handed out, if you've seen them in the handout, are Band-Aids, are not permanent solutions. We'd like to work together as a community to really solve the problem. Teens are going to be teens. They're going to find a place to do it. As a community, I want to make sure that this court or this place that they're going to find their access to their outlet to be teenagers isn't in the community where it's affecting residents and younger children. I guess that's it. Being privy, living across the park, seeing everything that happens. Again, the facilities are amazing. How can you complain with that? They're state of the art. Our kids are going to enjoy it, but it's driven a population of people that may or may not be within the village to enjoy those amenities and abuse them because there are no clear laid out rules. And unless the police are called, there's nobody enforcing those rules. I think a simple sign, speed bumps, and a crosswalk and a gate preventing entrance to that park would solve all those issues and prevent requiring an added police presence. I mean, I don't think that's an efficient way to deal with it.
Could I just ask, when you said a crosswalk in the lot, you're talking like down one of the sides, right down the middle, or what are you thinking?
Whatever is the safest. I just want a safe place for pedestrians to get through that lot. When the kids pull in, there's two entrances. I think another good idea would be an entrance and exit sign. When they pull in the first lot and they rip diagonally across the lot straight to the basketball courts, cutting across parking spots, cutting across the entire lot. If there was a painted crosswalk, perhaps that would slow them down. Right. I agree. I think the better solution is physical barrier running down the middle so that they cannot cross the lot that way.
Maybe I saw the
keep
video.
picturing like garden boxes,
Mhm.
and that's not like my head just like keeps picturing garden boxes, like 3 of them down the middle of the parking lot leading up to those 2 brick pillars, and then that would just cut them being able to gain speed from the basketball courts to the exit.
But in closing, like the park's amazing. The basketball courts are amazing. The tennis, the pickleball courts, they're there to be enjoyed. They're there for people to enjoy it. We just need the infrastructure to properly manage the increased crowd that the new amenities has driven. That's it. Incredibly happy. Thank you. Because I know it's all up to you, like making those decisions, getting those put in. I love living across from Hamlin. It's just been an issue with the last 2 years and the increased traffic.
Well, that's it. I mean, we don't have an agenda, we're just trying to meet the needs of the public and, we got to figure out, right, the balance, how to do it, do something that's enforceable, do something that's effective without doing something draconian.
Right.
Well, I think cameras would not be a bad idea either.
I think cameras are great. I don't mean to speak out of my turn, but if you use a camera, it's going to still require somebody reporting that issue, then going through the camera and finding out who was at fault. Unless you have somebody watching the cameras full time, which would be, I think, incredibly inefficient.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Pat, can you speak to that and maybe touch on the camera part too, and if we can connect it to our dispatch and have it be something that they can
So good evening.
shuffle through.
I'm going to use my recently retired supervisor here to talk about this. I don't know if you can hear me or not. Is this on? So Chief Krieger recently just actually applied for and received grant funding. And we're in the process tonight actually to ask the board to allow us to bid out or put out for bid for a camera tower. It's telescopic. It's powered by solar. And it will allow us cellular reception, and we will be able to watch wherever that camera tower is from cell phone apps and from dispatch, from desktop computers. That thing is going to be equipped with flashing blue strobe, like you might see in the more urban areas where you might see cameras that are directly pathed to police departments. It's going to have a public address system even on it if we get the one that we're hoping to get, and 360-degree radius of the area that the cameras point down at. So the camera situation, what you're talking about, we're probably a month or two away from actually getting delivery, but we're hopeful that it's going to be a really strong tool and be beneficial to keep an eye on that problem area until the folks that utilize that park on a regular basis get the message that it's supposed to be for just recreation and not the things that you're describing.
Yeah, I wonder about the drug transactions there too. I rode my bike down and I saw two kids. It was on a bad weather day, two kids under the shelter. I rode all the way to the other side of the park and a car pulled in, flashed its lights. The kids didn't move because they had seen me. And then the car just backed up and took off, and you're like, just a little sus. So, I mean, I feel like if we have cameras on them, right, that's gonna be something that they'll quickly, put a sign up, you're on camera or whatever. Do you think one camera on the cart is gonna be enough, or is it something we could put on multiple poles and multiple buildings, maybe around the park? I'd hate to just push it to the other side of the park, or, over by Home Plate and the Kiwanis shelter, and have to do the same thing down there.
The camera that Pat's looking at has 360-degree view.
Look at that.
So, and it also has a pan and tilt.
You come back, you got every meeting. Every meeting in your retirement.
Name and address.
Name and address,
You
please.
got that. It's got a pan and tilt camera and 360 view cameras. It does have a blue light that can be activated so people know they're being recorded. And like Chief Welch said, it can be viewed on cell phones, the car computers, dispatch, and if there's a problem, they can have it right on playing in the car on the car computer. That'll help along with more control.
Mhm.
And then Shane, what about noise ordinance signs? And closing those basketball courts at 8? I mean, it's pitch black at 9 and they're still out there at 10.
Yeah, they shouldn't be. If patrols are busy, they might not get by on a regular basis, but the park is closed at 10, so dusk 10, which one it was 10, I think.
It changes every 6 months. In the winter months, it's 9, I think, and right now it's 10.
I know, but, oh, yeah.
But let's keep it together. All right, thank you, Shane. Would someone else like to speak publicly? Come on.
No,
Come on.
Sorry, we record this and put it all on the internet, so
Barbara Jordan, 252 South Grove Street.
thank you.
So we back up literally to the park. So we've been over 40 years, so we see everything that goes on. But I believe there's an ordinance for no dogs in the park.
Mhm.
I would call you every 5 minutes for all the dogs that are walking the track with the people. I don't really mind that so much unless they have to pick up what they don't pick up and they're supposed to. But we have dogs and like neighbors have dogs. So when those dogs are this far from our property, what do you think our dogs do? Bark. And I can't stand barking, but it's not enforced. And there's only a little sign over here and a little sign over here, and you can walk in that park from so many different directions. So how do you enforce that? And I think one time with the timing of the park, you made pickleball, I think, till 8 o'clock now. Instead of saying, let's do this at 8 o'clock, this at 9 o'clock, this at 10 o'clock, one time, the park shuts down at this time and everything stops. And that might help too. Instead of confusing people, you'd have to have signs all over the park. And like I said, there's quite a few ways to get into the park and entrances.
Yeah,
That's
I
all.
hate to shut the whole park down at 8 o'clock just because of a handful of high school kids from East Rhode Holland who are, I'd rather try to surgically address what they're doing, and get them out versus shutting the whole park down for everybody. But sir, did you want to come up and talk?
Sure. I'm Dave Jordan. I was raised in East Aurora. I lived at Hamlin Park. There was 30 to 40 of us down there every day and evening playing capture the flag, football, basketball, whatever. But, I think too, like you say, with the time, summertime, maybe longer hours, what we did, 6 o'clock would go home and eat because the fire whistle would go. 9 o'clock or 8, whatever, the street lights come on, you get your butt home. That's what we did. The other thing is my wife brought up about the dogs. I think it was 1983. Was that when Mr. Glebe was the dog catcher? Rich was manager of the football team. He said, Dave, your dogs were around. We got to find, what was it, $75 or something like that. But the people in there, most of them clean up after their dogs. Some of them don't. But I had called Mr. Gunner and he said it was the responsibility of the police force to send somebody down to check on the people there. That his dog catcher only went and chased dogs when they were loose. Maybe if you warn these people, and if they do it again, fine them $7,500 and use that money for the police department, for cameras, whatever, for our village, lower my taxes. No, I don't know. But that's all.
All right, thank you, Dave. Same address, right? Who else? Anybody else like to speak? Go for it.
I know when we first, were developing the, you had said about the splash park, there was gonna be a splash pad for kids and something other, fixing the fences. Whatever happened to the splash pad? Because the more activities you have for children in the park, the more eyes and ears you have from parents and adults, then maybe a lot of this would disperse itself. But I never heard what happened.
Well, the splash pad was, well, the splash pad, yeah, there used to be one there years ago. And I remember the little concrete
The
ring.
concrete, yeah.
We decided we chose not to go that route because of the ongoing maintenance costs. It would need to be power washed and sanitized every day, would require a DPW employee to go down there and do that every morning, every day. So the ongoing costs were not, just cost prohibitive. So we chose not to do that.
What would it take for a gate?
2 gates on both sides and then maybe one over at the end of the little road going towards the rec building.
I feel like there used to be a chain across there. Wasn't there?
I remember that too.
The
That and that.
small road down to the maintenance building, we can't put a gate there because it's driveway access. for a
Right, people
couple-
live
You could
there.
put it at the end.
No,
Yeah, but the.
It's,
very
yeah,
end.
it's like house, and then it opens up to the parking lot.
Right.
You can put it at the actual parking lot instead of on the road, because you already have speed bumps on that road, right? So that
Right.
keeps people from zipping up and down. And what's the plan? We talked about repaving the football parking lot, right? Where did that land?
We just finished the drainage project down there late last week. So we'll be getting ready for paving shortly, probably right after the 4th.
So maybe,
Can we put
maybe running a
speed bumps
speed bump
out
across the
there?
middle. Right at the 50 yard line there, right across the middle, maybe that'll. What do you
What
think about that?
I would say even at the entrance.
No, I'd say at the end, like
Right, where would they come in? You're-
two or three in a row,
Yeah.
pulling in and pulling out.
You're not driving fast there. You're not gonna go over the speed
But
bump
if
and
you're in
then hit the gas. I mean,
Or what
It's-
about the curb stops that you see in parking lots at the front of the car? Cause down that center line that John and Renee talked about, you could put those curb stops down in front of where each parking space is in the middle of the lot. And that
That
also
would be an
would-
issue for plowing in the winter. We'd have to pick them up every fall and then put them back down in the spring.
Yeah,
Do that.
yep.
Yeah.
Beautiful planter boxes.
or planter boxes, if
Yeah.
somebody's willing to, I mean,
Yeah.
that's an
I
added.
just wanted something that's vandal proof, you know,
Are there is there stripes in there? Parking in that lot?
right now.
Yeah.
That lot
Spaces
is
are
right.
marked.
So it's supposed to be like 4, right? 2 on each side, kinda? And down the middle?
I drove down there 2 or 3 times today because I'm working on a house down the street and but all the times I went down there wasn't anything going on.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, I just, would like to see this.
That's
but-
the tricky part about enforcing it, right? Is that it's
Yeah,
hit or miss.
And the one evening we had a
24
parks
hours a
committee
day.
meeting in the rec building and we walked down there and, there wasn't anything happening, but I feel your pain because we have a similar situation at our summer cottage out in Wales at a popular bridge where the young people go and they jump off the bridge and we've had problems with them burning out their bad language, loud music, and I'd go down to talk to them. And then the belligerents and they get, and I don't understand where that comes from.
But and then the fear I have also, because I had similar conversations, and I don't want to put myself
Yeah,
in a vulnerable position where I would get angry too. So I don't address it. I call police.
well, exactly,
Yeah.
because when I've gone down there and and I've seen them purposely littering on our property and disrespecting our property, and they have to use our property to get in and out of the creek. All of a sudden the phones come out. And I don't know if they're taking, I mean, I'd rather just call the police on that because it's not.
It's not gonna be a legal issue. They're going to embarrass you on social media.
Well, that's exactly it. And it's really, really upsetting because I feel your pain because we've had that issue. And my blood pressure is going up right now just thinking about it.
Yeah, it's terrible.
But it's a quality of life issue and I just, I just hate coming home from work, going out there to relax. And they're, being dangerous. They're blocking the bridge out at our place. They're, burning out, ending up in the oncoming lane where there's a blind curve coming off of Route 78.
That's it. And it sounds like you guys get it, that you live
Yeah.
on a park and people get to use the park.
But
You
it's
accept
like
that.
you
But
have
this
to
is
live like
different.
that.
Yeah, this is
Right.
different.
That's not, it's exhausting. You come home, you work, you pay a lot of taxes, you live in a beautiful community, a beautiful park. You should be able to relax when you get home and not have to deal with obnoxious behavior and kids who are mouthy
Yeah.
and doing dangerous things that endanger
Yes.
our community members. And these people aren't from here. Steve and I would be willing to come down at some point. We could talk to you later, I guess, or. we can
Just to give everybody
communicate
heads
with
up, we have a Hamlin Park committee and it's chaired by Ernie and Steve, just so
you.
you
And so
know.
we would be very happy to come. We've done it before, but we would be more than happy to come down and go to the parking lot with someone and take a look at what your ideas are and try to, unfortunately, we don't have a meeting until September. We decided to do that because summer's tough to get people together. People have vacations and such. But I don't know, is that okay, Steve? I'm
Yeah,
speaking for you too.
I'm available on the 4th at about 4:00, guys.
So far, we've talked about the camera coming in. That's something in the shorter term, right? The next month or two. Did the camera, and I like the fact that it has a PA system too, so you can actually talk to them, especially for the people on the pickleball court after 8.
That is a nice
Pickleball courts
feature.
are closed, beat it. But, I mean, the planter boxes are something that you guys should consider, right? Putting the parking curbs there or some sort of curbs down the middle, speed bumps across the lot. Maybe something on the shorter term is maybe trimming the bushes back. Just because I know when I go to leave that lot, my car is over the sidewalk before I can actually see if there's a kid zipping down on a bike.
Yep.
Down that sidewalk. I mean, the bushes are right there. You don't get rid of them because then you opens up your view.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
to interrupt, it's a speed bump in my mind, and that's like a visual speed bump. Like, if you're a responsible driver, you realize you cannot see left or right, so you should proceed slowly until you can, You can see left or right, and then you make your way.
Unfortunately, right now, we're not talking about the responsible
No,
people.
and I
That's,
don't think, I think it's
yeah.
opinion that solves
Right.
very, very short, there
Right.
won't be an issue or a solution. long.
I'm trying to think of
Yeah.
something we could do like this
immediately,
week,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
I appreciate
Since the rest of it's gonna take a little longer to vet.
We put up chains at those entrances for now.
Yeah. Pat and Matt, what about chains across those entrances after close?
As a temporary solution. When do they close the bathrooms? Can they do that at the same time that they close the bathrooms?
Chain itself. Long lasting, what we're looking for there.
It's just for something for like immediately.
It might be a
They don't-
deterrent.
Right.
Well,
If it has a
just
lock
just
on
add Matt would probably say the same thing. We don't have any posts there, right, to attach, to fix it to.
No, there was that concrete thing that was there with the, remember with the, yeah, and there was.
Up by the two entrances at South Grove?
Yeah, there's some,
Is there something you can?
wooden fences there. I can take a look at it.
Yeah. All right, see if maybe something temporary could go up there after close. And Pat, do you know if they close the bathrooms at a set time every night? I know the police close them, whoever's on duty.
They aim to close them when, depending on the time of year, when it says the park closes. That's dependent
the
on
chain, I
manpower.
get rid of
If they're not busy arresting
Call
somebody,
out,
right?
but you could estimate,
Yeah.
you know,
Seems
if
less.
it's their
Yeah.
Time, daily, they're gonna come, check the bathroom, block out, look through, look around the park. We've increased patrol tenfold in the last month.
It's made,
We've gotten a lot of complaints, we're hearing you.
it's made a difference. It has.
We're down there a lot. Unfortunately, when we come, we haven't seen a ton yet. We haven't caught these drug deals in the act. We haven't been involved yet in anything like that. But that's, we're coming. We're there. I checked our records this morning. We had regular checks of that park. The officers are checking that park all evening long and all night. Fortunately, it's one of those when we turn our heads type of thing, they're gonna play. So we're on it. I can assure you that. We're on it. Prior to his departure, we're working on it. We're willing to do whatever it takes.
I kind of like that chain idea, at least as a temporary thing, because that starts to signal to the people doing this.
Right.
You
We
know,
have to
we're
do-
starting to
so
take
we have
steps.
to- we have
This
to
isn't
take
gonna be
control.
allowed.
We have to take control.
That's a candid question also. How would you like to proceed? How would you like us to proceed moving forward with calling the police with things like when I ran today, I'm not lying, I ran 2 laps today. I can smell weed the entire time. I know it's legal in New York State, but I'm probably not legal in the park, right?
No.
So do you want to call and get every instance we see an issue or?
Something
I
going
realize
on.
smoking is allowed in the park.
The village resident, or the village police department, and
I
there's
just
something
don't want to be
unlawful
isolated.
going on, call
Yeah, I just don't want to be bothered. I don't want to make these lots of issues.
we're there, we're not bothered.
That's what they're there for, right?
Right.
Yeah.
You shouldn't be bothered. You shouldn't be bothered. So let the
But
police
as
take
a
care of it.
community resident, I want to be part of the solution.
Yeah.
I want to rest in the solution.
Good,
I want
yes,
to-
Sure.
excellent. And we're gonna come up with something to make this work.
And in the short term, being the eyes and ears for the department might go a long way. It's not like you're just calling saying, I don't like my neighbor Tom Kelkland, which is totally understandable, but. Love you, buddy.
As many drug deals I've seen go on at the park. By the time I call the police, they're gone. They're
Sure.
fixed.
You seem kind of silly because they show like,
We see it.
and there's nothing there when they show up. So
Mhm.
You feel kind of silly, understandably so, but I guess that's what I want to avoid, but I don't know a better way
Mhm.
to avoid it.
You don't have to feel silly, you're reporting something, it's not supposed to happen. It's helpful to us too, not telling you to go out there, be the guy that, but.
Yeah.
Take note of, what kind of car is there, don't walk, don't engage anybody, but see a license plate, stuff like that helps.
Okay.
We got a lot of that.
I mean, they're blatantly out front.
That's it. If you can get the license plates and report them into the police
I'm
too.
not asking to do our job, sometimes a little bit of. pitch
Yeah,
helps,
some-
Yeah.
Especially if they're gone before we get there.
All right, sound good? Progress?
Yes.
All right, we're working on it. We're working on it. We hear you.
Tom Copeland, 208 South Grove. I've been a resident there for 29 years. I wish we could address that alleyway. That alleyway has tires in it, beer, pop cans. It's not even painted. We've only painted 3 sides of the building. It's always been a problem. Now we have a homeless man living there. I don't know why we can't put fencing up. The fencing in the back
We
is
can.
all deteriorated.
We can.
And
What
I
is,
just wonder if we can look at
what's
that.
the status of the fencing on the edge of the neighbor's property? I know there's some new fencing there. Does it go all the way down? There's a lot of vegetation there.
Yeah, I don't think, well, I know that part is not enclosed, so.
Yeah.
This side.
not
But
really
we could do
sure.
some fencing at either end. Maybe do gates so the football folks can still access
Still
it.
exit, right?
And they can come through the building too.
Over my history there, that alleyway has been just
Shenanigans,
of
magnet.
shenanigans, yes.
It is a bunch of crap. Yeah.
If we could address that, and it's not just the nuisance, the drug deals, but it's also the safety. All these people have children. There's cars going 60 and 70 miles an
Yeah,
hour.
it's like
and I'm
an
not exaggerating. Motorcycles yesterday, any nice day, when I left, if I could have taken a video of that, there was someone going 60 miles an hour as he took a left out of that lot.
Yikes.
Yeah.
That's
And
scary.
so my children are all grown up, but all these folks have little kids and someone's gonna get hurt. Something needs to be done, not now, not in a month when we have a camera. That's
Mhm.
great. Something needs to be done right now. Thank you.
Thanks, Tom. Anyone else, sir?
Yes, James O'Donnell, 212 South Grove Street. Hey, I'm just wondering, what about some more signage out there, like noise ordinance and effect violators will be ticketed and some good sized signs. And also, the pickleball courts close at 8. But the noise from the pickleball courts is like Beethoven's Fifth Symphony compared to those basketball courts. Something to consider would be closing those basketball courts at 8 because lots of times they're out there 10, 11, 12. Sometimes they park their cars out there, shine the lights on the court, and they're out there till 12, 1 o'clock in the morning. I get up at 4. And these people here at 2. So the signage is what, $10 a square foot or something like that, whatever it is. You know, some noise ordinance and effect signs, violators will be ticketed. To control the noise is huge over there. You can't sit outside because it's not even music. It's just every 3 seconds, a pounding bass, and it's turned way up. So you can't call it music, but for some reason, they do that, and they do it on a daily basis over there. And to close up basketball courts at 8 is not unreasonable, considering the fact that you close those pickleball courts at 8. So something to consider, and thank you for hearing me.
Thank you, James.
So do we need to update the code for that? Because currently it says the park is open from May to September from 6 AM to 10 PM. And then except for tennis until midnights on Fridays and Saturdays.
Maybe we talked about that, with the fact that it's because it was lit tennis courts there originally.
Right.
Or,
But I think we need to actually update the code, so we've got some firepower on that.
yeah. Do you think signs would help?
Yeah.
Just putting some temporary signs up
Well, I
in
think,
the short term.
I think when we go there for a complaint, there's a sign in front of the display. We'll be able to say, look, there is a warning.
Mhm.
We'd like to get people to go to one first. Quickly identify problem forward. Like that. So,
May I ask what the noise ordinance is? Because I've read it. And there's a certain time where there's no noise, but it also sounds like at any time of the day, you can hear music within 100 feet. And you can be fined $250. Is that correct?
cross border, cross property lines, I believe, audible. Yes, it's a slippery slope, that's your neighbor watching your car with the radio, that's a lot of it. That might be worth looking at also, but technically speaking, yes, across any kind of art, electronic amplification across property lines is against those codes.
So warning, as you said, and then a $250 fine in a second.
I don't allow these accounts, but it is a fact.
I thought that was written in code, but
Maybe we change the time of the park to 10 o'clock, it's pitch black.
Yeah, it used to be that the tennis courts, you could turn the lights on and off and tennis players would go and I think it was till,
So
Yeah, I think it was like till midnight at one,
it's still. in the
years ago, yeah. So,
We gotta change that then.
pardon?
We gotta change it then.
It's still in the code is midnight.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm standing on the tennis court and I'm some punk kid with the tennis racket in my hand at 11:30, you can't kick me out because I'm allowed to be there till 12.
Right.
Only on Fridays and Saturdays.
Oh, Fridays, sorry, on Friday or Saturday.
But yeah, I think we can look at rewriting that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right,
but that, and I completely agree with that, but that's also a bit of a long term
Right. That's
thing,
not
right?
it.
Cause you gotta go through
Yeah.
that whole process.
Matt, how long would it take you to get a sign up at least? For now,
Gonna change.
and some chains.
I would imagine by early next week.
Everybody good with that?
Yep.
For starters, Ernie and Steve, you're gonna meet
Yep.
the residents and.
Yep.
We have to come up with a time.
And figure out speed. Slowing measures when they repave the lot, that'd be the time to put them in.
Do we know what exactly we want on the sign?
No dogs.
Yep,
Time is the part.
yep. The
So
noise ordinance,
the,
There's a sign right on.
thing.
the pickleball time that we made, we never put it into law. Is that just a,
It's on the sign and
Is
on
it?
the gate to the pickleball court.
but we need to update the law to be enforced, right?
Yep.
So we can say it, but you can't
Right.
do anything about it other than ask people to leave. You can't force them.
Right.
The law. So we can put up another sign now, just as a warning, but then we gotta update the code.
Do you want to set a public hearing yet, or do you want to try to get the verbiage done first?
We need the verbiage done to set the public hearing, right?
No, you just need the verbiage done at least 2 weeks before the public
2
hearing.
weeks before, why don't we set the public hearing then, and then that'll hold our feet to the fire to make sure we get it done.
Yeah.
Quickly,
So the public hearing will be at least a month from now.
August.
Yeah, but we've
13th.
only got that one meeting in
August
August, so
13th.
yeah.
Yeah, let's do it August 13th.
So we'll set a public hearing to update the code for the village code for the hours. Yeah, hours for the park.
What else? Anything? I'm taking notes, so.
Mhm.
Hours of pickleball court use and.
Yeah.
Maybe hours for basketball court use.
Let's just, yeah, we should look at all the hours and get it
You know,
all.
get it
Yeah,
all set
hours
so
of
that
park
we
use.
can post those signs by those venues.
We can put up a temporary sign and then we have it finalized, we can put the real hours up.
Is the dog part already in code? Or
Yes.
Do we
That's
need
already
to
part
add?
of the code.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's been in code.
But-
It's on the signs.
So how do you address that? I mean, I've been in the park. And see people and you want to be the guy that goes, hey, you're not supposed to have that dog here. And then you started, kind of like you said, you're gonna walk up and be the awkward guy that starts jawing on someone for,
Which is fine occasionally, but when it's a repeat thing you have to do, then it becomes cumbersome.
Yeah.
You don't want that person.
Yeah, and a lot of the people with dogs, right, they're not the 16-year-old punks, right? They're
Right.
just some family walking their dog around who might not even know
They may
it's not
genuinely.
allowed. Or you just, if Pat has one of the officers go talk to him, just say, hey, listen, you can't have your dog in the park. I can't imagine they'd come back next week with their dog. I'd like to think they wouldn't. I remember we had a meeting a couple of years ago when we started talking about Hamlin. And some people showed up and said we should allow dogs in the park.
Yeah,
Remember that?
Yeah,
And the thought was, it's a family park. You got kids running around the grass. There's always gonna be that dog owner who doesn't clean up. And now you gotta worry about
well, it
stepping
doesn't
in
clean
it,
up and
or
what
the
they're not.
dog biting some kid on the face. The
Yeah.
owner
Gets
going, I can't believe
excited.
he's never been anybody,
sure.
so I'm still good with not allowing dogs in the park. We just have to kind of step up
Let's see.
awareness to make sure people get it, right?
We can do a little social media rules of the park once we get the code.
I think
updated.
the signs will help. I think most people probably don't even think about it.
Mhm.
And once they see the signs and other people not doing it, that.
But isn't there rules, right, as you walk in off of, not Grove, but Prospect?
Prospect?
There's,
Yeah, if you walk in that way, yeah.
people don't
But if
look,
you're not walking
they don't
that
even
way-
look at them, no. They'll walk right by it and not even, it's fun.
So this is for the dog thing is. for
yeah, the dog, yeah, that's a notice.
Love dogs. They have to. But the barking.
because they're right in the fence where.
I'm with you. And
So I love it. But if they don't belong in the park, we either make them, they go in the park. or they're-
There's a dog park at Knox, right? I mean, they can take their dog
Right,
to
there's a lot
Knox.
of options.
You're gonna do an actual motion for that right now, so that I can get a vote on that.
On which one? Yeah, the public hearing?
Public hearing.
Yeah, somebody want to make a motion to schedule a public hearing for August 13th to address
Local law.
local law
I'd like
Regarding
to
chapter 177.
schedule that.
for chapter 177.
I'd like to schedule a public hearing to update the local law for chapter 177
7
On August
August 3rd.
13th.
on 13th.
13th.
I'll second that.
All right, second by Steve for the discussion.
shot.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
And as far-
Approved. And Matt, you're gonna get with Ernie and Steve as far as speed measures when you're actually doing the paving of that lot, correct?
So-
We're
I think
gonna,
that'll go a long way.
we'd like to ask the people here,
Timing. Do you want to meet? Do you want to meet with Ernie and I under the pavilion next Monday? 5? Is that early or late enough for everybody?
Sounds great.
Monday 5? Or
Yeah, I have to do this.
Come on up.
Under the pavilion by the football field.
Still
Monday,
speaking
right?
communication.
8th, 5 PM.
guys
Hi,
Name and
good with that?
address, please.
just waiting for them. to
Name and
finish.
address.
Hi, I'm Karen Dietz. I live at 201 South Grove. I just had a couple questions for you. There's a Hamlin Park group
Committee, yeah.
committee. Are there residents on that committee?
Sure.
I
Yes.
might be willing to move from Christmas to.
You're,
Hamlin Park.
No,
No.
you're gonna stay in the
no.
holiday decoration committee. I'll let you get off it for those kids, but
Yes, but we would love to be. part of
you're
it.
more than welcome to attend our next one. We'll have the date for you when we meet next Monday. It's in
Okay.
September
Perfect.
and I'm not sure what the date is, right?
Yeah, I forget what, I think it's,
13? Or no?
yeah, we'll have to check.
That was August 13th. We're doing that. No, I'm not sure. what
August
the date
13th is rules.
Right.
laws.
So we're not sure, but before September, we'll be in
Sounds
touch.
good. Thank you.
Well,
And I just
we'll-
wanted to thank everybody for listening and like actually doing something. And I feel like we're gonna leave here and be like, okay, good, something's gonna happen. Because I know a lot of us are really worried about coming and just getting the lip of like, yeah, thank you for sharing with us, but we really do appreciate it. I mean, I think we counted 30 some little kids on that street. And that's not including any of the park programs that just started up today too. And between all of the kids running to their parents' cars and then just, the kids that bike there themselves to the tennis programs and the basketball programs and everything. We're just, I don't want to ever see an ambulance come down that street for a little kid. And that's, I don't want it to ever happen. And I'm terrified that it's going to. So thank you.
Amen.
Appreciate
Once
it.
things don't happen
Yeah,
super
that's-
fast, we'll be as fast as we can.
I know. I get
And,
it.
and,
Progress.
and,
Get it.
and spread the word.
Mhm.
Monday, July 8th, 5 PM at the pavilion in the park.
Perfect.
And Steve and I will be there and we'll address your concerns and come up with a
We really
more
appreciate it.
detailed
Thank you.
plan.
excuse me 1 second. Yes.
Just one other thing. You have nothing that addresses noise in chapter 177 dealing with parks. 171 deals with noise from 11
To
PM
7.
to 7 AM.
Yeah.
If you're changing something with respect to the parks, you want to address noise, and if so,
Is that part of or we're just doing hours of the?
Yeah, we're just doing hours right now.
I mean, if the cars aren't
Yeah.
allowed in the lot, if the cars aren't allowed in the lot and people aren't allowed to play pickleball and basketball after
shouldn't be.
X time, then we shouldn't need to change
The code.
the code for the noise. Cause wouldn't that be redundant? They're already not allowed to play basketball, so.
If
I think
one,
the issue
then
is during the
not
day though,
other.
when they're playing basketball and the
With the music and the,
bass.
Right.
is
Yeah,
referenced.
for bothering the neighbors.
And the chief said that it's what, you say 100, somebody said 100.
100
100 feet
100 feet.
from its source or over any property line.
Yeah, 100 feet.
Just.
That's a different code. That's a different code, you're saying.
It's in the noise ordinance.
171.
Yeah.
But it doesn't specific, 177 dealing with parks does not specifically address noise.
Could 177, could we add a caveat to 177 that addresses if you choose to play music in the park, you have to contain it within
Or you
10
have
or
to buy.
15 feet of your
That's why I
your
asked,
group.
that's what, I wasn't being that specific about the distance,
Yeah.
Well, but you know,
that's why I
or
raised the
something
issue.
there.
Yeah.
If
Well,
I'm.
Can we add it
modifying-
to 177 is what I'm asking.
Yes.
Okay,
I mean,
then let's do that.
specifically to music, right?
The music,
Just
not just.
Amplified anything.
Yeah.
Could be, a-
Well, that gets trouble because of the little loop.
Yeah, we're not, that's the thing, is we're looking at activities in the park that do make noise.
Right.
uh-huh.
But I think, I think it's still worth looking at. Like, if we're gonna look at one part of the code, I'm gonna just look at both. of them.
Those are covered by the special use permit and you've already given them permission. There are numerous
Okay.
provisions in here for, unless you have the permission of the village.
Perfect.
I'm just asking about generally because I was listening to everyone talk in terms of the music.
Let's do amplified music then.
Yeah.
That won't affect basketball, pickleball, other events in the park.
Thanks, Chris.
Just figured if I'm in the middle of changing.
Before we have to
Doing
go
it
through a whole
once.
nother public hearing cycle, that's good.
Okay.
All right, still, our first speakers in communications, anybody else have anything they want to speak on? Come on up, Barbara. Nice try.
You're getting your steps in.
Are there any ordinances for these, I don't even know what they're called, these things the kids are zipping around the sidewalks on, these,
Scooters.
Yeah,
they're more than scooters, they like electric or something.
yeah.
Listen, I mean, we
That is a
we almost got
discussion.
taken right off the sidewalk the other day.
It's come back.
One that we've been working on. So
Wow.
That is a
Things are
discussion we're
really
having
fast.
currently, yeah.
Yeah.
There are New York State laws that we're gonna ask our new chief to post some of those on social media for parents to read.
It is a new challenge. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, moving on. We don't have any public hearings today. Moving on to official considerations. Can I get a motion to, well, this is still open, right?
Peter, Pete,
What? Oh, hi.
Yeah, I was gonna wait till the end, but you know, maybe.
Sure, go ahead. What's your name and address? Thanks, Aaron.
Give her my, yeah.
795 Martin Drive, East Aurora.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So here's the story. Several weeks ago, we had a need for our guys, our EMTs to come and take John to the hospital. That would be Millard Fillmore Suburban. And the decision was made by me because, and I could have very well probably loaded him into the car and taken him myself, but we didn't because I thought that was the safest way
Mhm.
to do this thing. Okay. In the meantime, obviously it wasn't serious, but nonetheless, we had kind of put this out of our mind until I received a letter from AMR. It's been a week or more. And I had never heard of this organization, but apparently they're a transporting group and they are a fairly nationwide. At least that's what I've been able to glean from some reading. But we didn't know that those gentlemen that came and assisted John, we just assumed that they were our local guys, our East Aurora EMTs. And unfortunately, you know, it wouldn't have necessarily been a case where I could have looked at them and go, oh yeah, they're East Aurora guys, because I don't know their faces very well.
Mhm.
But anyway, they loaded him up, took him into Suburban. And we just he came home and we just kind of forgot it. And that's because of former situations of going in over the last 5 years. There was one or two, and it was always our own EMTs. But now this was not, but we didn't know that because, you know, they were dressed up the way they would if they came and were on a call. So anyway, a week ago, I received a letter, a form that is asking us to pay just under $3,000 for that afternoon. And there is no recourse, for insurance. That was really, it shook me to the bottom of my feet. That's a lot of money, you know, they want to pay like yesterday. And so I suppose I wondered has there been some transparency at all regarding this group that apparently has taken over East Aurora transport to yeah.
I'm Aaron, I'm the fire chief.
Can you grab the microphone?
Grab the mic
Yeah.
back, please.
So we've had a contracted ambulance provider since I believe 1988. We have not run an ambulance in East Aurora since 1988. So it's been contracted out since then. 1988.
Has it been AMR the whole time?
Not
Or whatever
AMR,
their name
it's
was
been a
before
different
then?
company, yeah, but it's the
Rural
billing
Metro.
process is all the
Yeah.
same. You know, different names a couple of times, but the same corporation that's owned them,
Yeah.
I believe, since that time.
We didn't have enough trained EMTs and paramedics to
Right.
actually provide a regular, reliable 24-hour ambulance service, because they're all volunteers. Our fire department's all volunteers, right? So they're working their regular jobs, paying their bills, and then you gotta hope they can get over there. And so they made the decision in 88 to actually contract with a third-party ambulance service, which a lot of municipalities in Erie County do. Most have AMR as their ambulance provider. They're a big national company.
In 400 townships. And never have I had to pay for an ambulance service. In fact, 45 years ago, I used to be an EMT. I was on an ambulance, many calls as well as fire. We never charge our community. And that's why this caught me totally off guard. Particularly when I asked the gentleman, "Are you paid?" And he said, "Oh yeah, I'm paid." And that struck me as being strange. I should have told him right then and there.
Yes.
It wasn't volunteer.
Unfortunately, the way things work nowadays across the country, volunteer EMS, the places that still run it, unfortunately, it's rare that you see a successful program. Hospital wait times, the numbers of EMTs, the EMT basic curriculum is over 200 hours. Just in East Aurora alone, yeah, we run about 900 ambulance calls a year out of our station, and our EMTs are usually there to assist. But with hospital wait times and call volume and the lack of volunteers, it's not just an East Aurora specific problem. You're seeing it across the nation. Yes, sir. No. No, they do not.
We actually pay them to be
Pay
here.
them to be here.
Yep.
We pay them. We pay them and they also get the reimbursements from the insurance company. So everybody usually has some form of insurance, whether it's private or Medicare or Medicaid, that includes some sort of ambulance coverage in it.
Wait, hold on.
Oh,
You gotta come to
no.
the microphone and say your name and address.
Sorry, Renee.
Renee Genero from 219 South Grove. I was just gonna ask her what maybe would be causing her to not be paid, but get a bill before for the other ones, but get a bill this time. I was worried she was getting like a fraud letter. And maybe we should look at it.
Oh,
Someone should look
yes.
at it.
Because I was thinking
I
myself.
just didn't understand
Yeah,
why they've called multiple
it-
times and it was her first bill.
If because I represent a number of municipalities and fire companies, and some of which who have EMTs and run a billing service. And I've dealt with both LVAC, Lancaster Volunteer Ambulance Corps, which is kind of misnomer because they're not really volunteers totally. They've got paid EMTs that work with them. And I'm familiar with AMR. $3,000 is a very large number. And I have not heard that type of a number for running from East Aurora. I know the distance between East Aurora and suburban. Even with the mileage, well, no, it's several factors. One, whether it's a BLS, basic life support, or 2 ALS, advanced life support. I don't know how they build it. You should have received a bill on top of it that will explain things. And I'd be happy to look at it for you and just get an idea.
Chris, it sounds to me, if I can interrupt.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's a billing issue, and I would submit that to whatever your insurance is. If it's legitimate, they'll probably cover most of that.
Right, and if it's on Medicare, they're limited on how much they can bill under Medicare reimbursement rates. So that's a separate issue. They may not be able to even collect beyond that. And do you have a supplemental insurance beyond that? Okay, we can we can chat.
It doesn't sound right because my father, when this is like 5-6 years ago, when I had to send him in, same thing, AMR or whatever it was at the time. And he went into Mercy Hospital, he had a stroke. And I did not get a bill that size. I don't remember getting a bill of that size. And that was far more serious, I would assume. I mean, he had a serious, you know.
Yeah.
We're not something's not right. I'm not an expert.
But we'd like to think.
I'm not an expert, but I'm just thinking back to like
a lot of
the last time I had an interaction with the paramedics. I don't remember getting a bill like that because I would have remembered that, I think.
Because this is.
People instead of calling the ambulances because it's so expensive, and they were talking about those rates. People were calling Ubers to take them to the hospital because they couldn't afford the ambulance bills. So this is a big problem.
Yeah, I've heard that before. And then sometimes the Uber driver will refuse it when they see the destination's a hospital because they're like, I don't want the liability.
Chris, when are you gonna meet?
When you're all done talking.
We're done talking about this. You can meet with her right now.
Yeah, I can meet with her.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so this is the village attorney, Chris Trapp. All right, and he volunteered to take a look at your paperwork and see if he can help figure out how to make sure your insurance covers your bill, because that does seem exorbitantly high for an ambulance ride.
You dropped one of the letters on the floor.
Yeah. Right. You're not surprised by it after.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't sound right.
There is a red flag law
Okay.
that people are supposed to know in advance what their costs are.
Thank you. And so our village attorneys are taking a look at the documents now, and they'll see how they can help.
Yeah.
Thank you. Anyone else for speakers and communications? I think there's like 2 left. You guys are good. All right. All right. Public hearings, we don't have official considerations. Let's see. Why don't we go? I'm gonna change the order up until our attorneys are cleared. Why don't we go to D? Can I get a motion to appoint Adam M. Vetter, 2465 Route 28, Varysburg, to the position of part-time public safety dispatcher, July 1, 2024?
So moved.
Moved by Steve, second. Second by Kristen. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approve? Congrats. Can I get a motion to appoint Liana J. Park, 27 Thomas Drive, West Seneca, to the position of part-time public safety dispatcher, July 2nd, 2024?
Motion.
Moved by Grace, second by Jeff. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That is approved. Can I get a motion to approve new member Mitchell Morris as a firefighter with the East Aurora Fire Department?
So moved.
Moved by Kristen. Can you?
Oh, yeah, I was told that.
As long as it's not money.
Yeah.
Something that's not money, it's good.
Yeah.
Second by Grace, further discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. I get a motion to approve the purchase of the Bobcat T30 hydro seeder for $24,405 via Sourcewell Purchasing Group.
So moved.
Moved by Ernie, second? Second by Molly. Further discussion? Who's gonna speak to that, Matt or Maureen? Or both?
Would you like me to speak, Matt?
Or would you like?
Where do you use it primarily?
It was budgeted for and approved, but it has to go through this approval because it's over $20,000. And we didn't need to bid because we got it from Sourcewell, who does the bidding for us.
Right.
Everybody good? Yep. Any other discussion? All right, moved by Ernie, second by Molly. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Approved. I get a motion to approve a temporary use permit for Hamlin Park, Edward Jones. Applicant Jim Anderson, August 7, 2024, from 5 to 8 for what appears to be a company picnic.
Motion.
Moved by Jeff, second.
Second.
Second by Molly. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Can I get a motion to approve a temporary use permit for a chicken barbecue fundraiser at 24 Payne Street, East Shore, New York? Elizabeth Cassidy is the applicant, July 27, 2024, from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. pending insurance.
So moved.
Moved by Steve, second. Second by Grace. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. I get a motion for permission to advertise to bid the remote surveillance camera and trailer.
So moved.
Moved by Grace, second. Second by Ernie. Further discussion? So Pat, is that the $40,000 grant? Is that the whole cost of it? I mean, that,
I believe it's a $44,000 grant that we were awarded. We have 3 quotes right now, but it has to, because it is over the threshold, Maureen indicated that it actually has to be bid out. So these companies will have to actually send in a bid on it. And so it should be fully covered by the grant.
so we don't have their final cost. So what happens if the lowest bid is 38,000? Can we use that $6,000 from the grant for other cameras or other surveillance or?
So
What's
We've
that?
been approved for that amount's being sent to us.
Okay, as long as we
That's my.
spend it on this type of, doesn't have to be this particular camera.
Any technology basically you're allowed to spend.
Great.
So the trailer, so it's mobile that you pull it around and park it where you want it? It's not mounted like on top of the building, permanent at the park, it's put in a trailer?
This specific one is a hitch mounted mobile trailer, solar powered. And we can position it, we can put it on Main Street for the car show. We could use it a lot of places, and it's all based on cellular antenna. So as long as within cell service, we'll be able to access it remote from the apps or the internet.
Is there monthly cost?
I believe we're getting a 3-year service. plan.
Just all we got for the camera we're looking at is a 3-year.
Yeah, that's.
After that expires, there would be more cost to it.
Do we know how much that is, or will we know how much that is?
Right now, I think it was like $120 or $140 a month.
Okay. Can we add, is it stackable? Can you add additional devices to the system? You know? Like if we just get like a rotating camera and put it on one of our light poles, can we tie that into the same
I don't.
monitoring that comes with it? That's something we should look at too.
I didn't. We won't know until we have the actual company that's on.
Sure.
We're expecting to receive 3 bids, 3 different companies.
Okay.
So we don't even know actually what, we know what we want, but we don't know what the numbers are gonna come in.
What it's gonna involve.
Which one we're gonna get.
Right. Okay, thanks, fellas. All right, so it's moved by Grace, second by Ernie. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved? Motion to consider a peddler solicitor permit for Northeast Tap Company, applicant Amy D'Amato, August 25th, 2024, to participate in the Toy Town Car Show serving alcohol. Now did we open this motion last time? How did we end it?
Table that,
Table.
Yeah.
So it's still open.
you'd have to have.
Well,
somebody
you
go
need
push
to-
it.
someone pull it
Yeah,
off the
you
table.
want it.
Got it. So does someone want to make a motion to consider this permit?
You talk first.
Okay, let's talk first.
What did Molly say? I couldn't hear Molly.
You don't. You
What
need
did
to
she
pull
say?
it off the table to Talk.
We can talk.
Hang on,
You have to make a motion to talk about it? No.
mommy and daddy are fighting.
We can make a motion, it won't hurt us.
Yeah. Then I would make a positive motion and vote negatively if you want negative and positive if you want positive.
Makes it
That's
a
my
lot
opinion.
easier.
Oh, my head
That's my
hurts.
opinion.
Someone want to make a motion to approve a peddler solicitor permit for Northeast Tap Company applicant Amy D'Amato, August 25th, 2024, to participate in the Toy Town Car Show serving alcohol.
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
Moved by Kristen, second.
I'll second.
Second by Molly. All right, now, further discussion.
I did speak to the owner of the tap truck after the meeting, last meeting. And then further, and I also called a couple of restaurant owners, asking them how they felt, because that was one issue that we brought up, is it's competition for our local brick and mortar places that's pay our taxes. And then she's coming in for isolated events and tapping into their business, no pun intended. But she also said, well, you know, we just don't have 8 taps of beer. We are a hydration station for every event we're at. We give away free water. And in further discussion, she said she may reach out to local vendors such as local breweries that maybe put one of their kegs on the vehicle as well, and then offer non-alcoholic things. So I think I told her, I said, well, you didn't say any of that to the board, and it left a different image as opposed to just a beer truck versus everything you just said. So, and I don't really feel this type of event is something that they're looking to make their main business on. I think this is a promotional event for the truck that they're looking to do more corporate events, wedding venues and things of that nature. And that's all I know from, so that's what she told me. And then when I furthered the conversation with her.
Oh, and I'll
If that
reiterate,
changes any opinions on it.
I'll reiterate my thoughts on it. East Aurora, we have a lot of festivals, a lot of events, and most of them are alcohol centric. You can't tell me they're not, right? We have no open container law, so it's easy to walk around with your drink, and that's fine. I'm not a teetotaler. I enjoy it myself. But we have a handful of kind of open to the public, family friendly events like the car show, like the Carolcade, like the Taste of East Aurora. And I feel like, you know, there's plenty of opportunities for alcohol in this village. I'm not sure we really need to promote it and publicize it and make it just in everybody's face at a daytime family event and allow a business to come in and everybody wants to come in and profit off East Aurora. We've seen that. We've been on guard for the last few years with East Aurora's popularity. We're the gatekeepers, right? We're trying to maintain our village character. We don't want East Aurora to become that place where people say, oh my God, East Aurora is so fun. I love going there, but I wouldn't want to live there. Right? So, there's a handful of events to allow someone to come in and like, I mean, if she wants to promote her thing, that's not our responsibility to make sure she makes money or promotes her thing. If she wants to come in and just give away waters and sell juice and mocktails, that would promote her thing without her business, without actually promoting alcohol at a daytime event. So I'm against selling it, allowing her to come in and sell it to the public. And then you have, you know, other businesses who are going to say, hey, great, we can do that too. And then maybe you end up with 3 tap trucks at this event. And then it just becomes another drunken event. So
We're already becoming that town that people know. You know, Booze Town, USA, you know, we're a town that's known for a lot of bars, a lot of events with a lot of drinking, you walk around with a open container. And, you know, obviously I'm not a teetotaler either, but you know, it's just another one of those, it just takes us one step further in that direction where we just, you know, that reputation of being a place where you go to drink. And when we have events like the Taste of East Aurora or the car show, family oriented, it's kind of nice to get away from that a little bit, you know, as opposed to the, you know, the music fest and, you know, the crazy stuff that entails with the drinking and all the problems that go along with it. So I really don't know that we need to do that. I appreciate that she wants to provide water for people and other options, you know. She wants to promote her business, but she could pull her truck into the car show and promote it, you
She
know.
is, she's gonna be there anyway.
You know, I don't know
She's a
that,
sponsor of the event.
and. You know, I just think it's another one of those, you know, let's encourage more drinking in East Aurora.
I think it's jump to have it available than saying you're encouraging it. I mean.
Yeah,
Okay,
I agree.
maybe not encouraging, you know, it's okay, I misspoke there.
Right, I mean, I'm just,
Yeah, I agree with that, the wording was not correct.
yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying about the alcohol centric events. I think, from what I recall, the Legion, she was associated with the Legion who's sponsoring the event. There's antique cars there and she has an antique truck.
She's actually in, yeah.
Yeah, I
she's
mean, it was
entered
part
as
of-
an antique.
Yeah, and you know, the point that just because we do, you know, it'll set precedents. I think that we have to remember that each petition is an individual request and that we treat them all specific to them. So I don't think it's necessarily a slippery slope, and respectfully disagree with your take that somehow this is going to become a, you know,
I
drunk
think-
fest because someone grabs a beer and walks around and looks at cars for a couple hours.
Yeah, I
mean,
concur with that.
That's all. But I understand what you're saying.
I equate her to a beverage food truck. I mean, if the argument is we're protecting our brick and mortars that pay taxes, then why don't we do that for the food people?
Mhm.
I don't buy that argument, and I also don't I respectfully disagree as well that it's gonna turn this event into a beer blast event.
I mean, I think we talked about having her parked in a specific area with a cordoned off space where people would be drinking it. I mean, I
Yeah.
didn't think it was gonna become a free for all, was not my understanding of the request, so.
But you have an event we currently don't allow alcohol to be sold at, and you are introducing alcohol.
Well, there's no one,
That-
there's no other
Well-
vendors there asking to sell.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's
Right,
not that
well,
we-
they haven't sold it. They haven't sold alcohol.
in the
and now we're gonna
past, it
start.
was.
Now we're gonna start. I'm just saying, if that's what you want to do, then that's what you wanna do.
But is
I
there
just-
any other vendors there selling anything?
I don't know,
Do we have a?
a list
The
of
Boy
vendors.
Scouts, Boy Scouts sell food.
They
and
don't-
so-
We don't have a permit yet.
We don't have a permit yet for that event.
We don't have a permit yet for the car show, so we don't even know what's they're requesting.
Huh?
Well, then how can we consider this if we don't have a permit for the show yet?
Great question.
What's the date on this?
When they put in their application. I
Oh,
think
it's-
there's one for it.
Oh,
Well, we only have
Well,
one meeting before that.
Right.
They better get on the stick. I'm sure it's already advertised. So does that put a kibosh on the whole thing? We just.
well, do
table
you
it
put a
further?
condition
car
on
show.
it pending? Well, we don't know what the vote's gonna be anyways, but is it pending
Do we then,
approval of the car show?
or do we table it until we get the permit from the car show?
Well, could
Table
do
it
either.
down.
Do we
could-
need to?
Or
I mean,
just vote on it now pending if they come through with
Pending
pending the approval of the
Yeah.
event.
It is, yeah, it's advertised. August 25th, 2024, noon to 5,
We have one meeting before.
about.
Yep.
So can we,
No, we.
can you check last year's permit and make sure you get a hold of the person who
Should be two, right?
applies and make sure that they, need to get their application in?
So what's the protocol? Do we have to wait till after they have a permit, or do we do a conditional thing now, or?
I think you could do it conditionally, but I would wait until you have it, because I think that.
Well,
that
I would,
we have
I'm,
to
what's
distance-
illegal? What's our legal department say?
Counselor?
Well, right now, all you have is a motion to bring it off the table, which you haven't voted on. So you technically have to do that first, and then someone has to make a motion to either approve their request or to disapprove their request. And you can place reasonable conditions on it such that obviously it's only if it's an approval that subject to the application and approval of the Toy Town Car Show.
So basically,
But they can table it if they want.
Oh, yeah, you could
Yes.
simply
well, we
keep
have
it on the
So
table.
right now, the motion is to
The
move
right, the
forward.
only motion you have now is to pull it off the table, which you haven't.
To pull it off or to,
No.
no, she moved to move forward. Yeah,
That's what
That
the
was the
motion.
the motion to approve is what it was.
So she would have to table it, then you get, the
No.
tabled, or you
What-
could vote on it, or you could put restrictions on it and vote on it.
Correct.
I would rather see the
So,
car, I would rather see the car show permit request first.
Yeah.
I mean, just my opinion, but we don't know what they're gonna put in there.
Semantics.
Wait,
It's just semantics.
How would
Yeah,
their,
table it.
how would their permit
No,
affect this?
well, you would be giving them a permit to be at a car show
That's
that
not gonna
hasn't
take,
been approved.
Right,
The cart is before the horse,
right. I get
the
that.
truck is.
literally,
Yeah.
in this
Uh-huh.
case.
Yeah, I would say just table
no.
I texted,
it. Let's do it correctly.
I texted Keith
Yeah.
Bender at the Legion. And let him know we haven't gotten the application yet. There's two meetings left.
Okay.
So- All right, so
Here's a question.
Maintain the
If you,
table.
huh? Well,
Go.
this, if you tabled it at the last meeting, then the simplest way to do this is withdraw the motion and withdraw the second.
Yep.
And then it stays on the table. You don't need extra motions.
Okay.
So,
Nice and easy. I'll withdraw the motion.
Kristen withdrawing the
How about the
motion,
second?
Molly
I'll withdraw my
withdrawing the
second.
second. The motion is still tabled.
okay,
And we'll wait for the application from the Legion for the actual car show. And then we'll look at it with
Cut it
all the
close.
details. Oh, good?
Sure.
All right. So can I get a motion to approve a resolution to appoint Shane Krieger to the position of village administrator effective July 8, 2024, including permission to sign employment agreement with Mr. Krieger?
So moved.
Moved by Kristen, second,
Second,
second by Jeff. Further discussion. All right, so he would be village administrator effective July 8. And he would be filling a role that we've had vacant for 10 months now. And helping smooth out a lot of transitions. Any other discussion on it from the board?
Thanks for sticking around.
Thank you, Shane.
enjoy your last few days of retirement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you gotta wait.
Yeah, can I get that proclamation?
Yeah.
And use it again when you finally retire from this. All right, roll call vote, Steve
Aye.
and Kristen
Aye.
and Ernie,
Aye.
Jeff
Aye.
and Molly
Hi.
and Grace.
Aye.
And I'm an aye as well. Motion passes. Congratulations. Welcome back, Shane. Welcome back. All right, moving on. No new business, no old business. Second, speakers and communications. Anybody want to speak on anything else that they've thought of in the last 20 minutes?
What about C?
C,
What about C?
Where?
C.
Yeah,
C-
so C is the resolution. I figured we would go into executive session and discuss a number of things, including some employee things, and then we could revisit C after we come out of exec session. That seemed to be logical.
Okay.
Unless someone has a different take on it.
No, that makes sense.
All right. New business, old business, speakers and communications. Nobody had anything? All right. Department head report. Police Chief Pat Welch.
My first week is going great. No, the police department is gearing up for the July 3rd parade and fireworks. That is actually, I guess you could call it a town event, but we commingle with that, and we're gearing up for that. And the 4th of July, many calls of, we're anticipating our usual onslaught of fireworks complaints, and we'll be on top of that. The private ones, not the public display. And as you saw tonight, we've got 2 new part-time dispatchers coming on, so that'll fill a void that we currently are dealing with, and that's all I have.
Very good. Thanks, Pat. Matt?
We completed a little more work down at the circle, planting some more bushes. Hopefully early next week, we'll be finishing up that project with some sod on the interior area that's left. The drainage, like I mentioned earlier, the drainage at the maintenance building or the rec building at Hamlin Park has been completed, and we'll be paving that parking lot shortly after that as well. After the 4th of July, July 3rd event. And that's about it.
Okay, good. Thank you, Matt. I think you said the horse is Michelle Conley-Vogel's fixing up the horse
Yeah,
in the
a
circle.
few more
We'll have
weeks, I
that?
believe.
What's that?
A few more weeks and we should
Few
have
more
that
weeks.
back.
Great. Thank you, Matt. Aaron?
We are ready to go for July 3rd, just like years past, same plan as normal. I believe I emailed it over to you, so you've got the plan if anybody else wants to see it, but that's it.
Very good. Thank you, Aaron. Rich?
I don't have anything to offer tonight, so I appreciate the time.
Thank you, Rich. And Maureen?
Today was the last day to pay your taxes, so if you haven't paid your taxes, get them postmarked today somewhere. And I just been working with the new chief and going through some policies, and can't wait for the new admin to start.
Good. Thank you, Maureen. Going to the board, Steve?
All set.
All right, Kristen?
Nothing tonight.
Ernie?
I'm good.
Thank you, Ernie and Steve, seriously, for all the time you put in on the Hamlet Park Committee.
No problem.
Yeah, I know, when we first started talking about it, I don't know if we realized what a big lift it would be, but you guys have really done a great job, made yourselves available and open-minded and given us some great recommendations to go with on the board, so thank you for doing that. Jeffrey?
Oh, good. Thank you.
All right, Molly? All
I'm all set.
right, and Grace?
What's up?
Very good. And I won't slow it down. Looking forward to the parade. It's a fun time. It's one of my favorite days of the year, July 3rd, and rolling down into Hamlin Park and just spending the evening with all our friends and family and neighbors in Hamlin. It's that small town. It's the best part about small town America is a local parade and then a fireworks show in the park. So really looking forward to it. And thanks for everybody who puts all their effort in to make sure it happens safely. Working on the dispatch contract, so we're gonna move forward with that. Hopefully get that locked down quick, Aaron. And that's all I got as well. We are going to go into executive session. We may vote when we come out. You'll have to leave the room for it. You're welcome to stick around and come back after you come out of executive session, but if you don't, we do appreciate you all coming. It's important that the community cares and people come and speak and believe in us, that we're gonna hear you and try to make things better for everybody. So thank you for your confidence. I appreciate it. All right, can I get a motion to go in executive session for an update on legal matters and a personnel matter?
Motion.
Moved by
Second.
Jeff, second by Steve at 8:24 PM. Further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. We are in executive session.